What is up, Hawk fans? I hope all is well. I wanted to quickly discuss Fran McCaffery and Iowa basketball. I did some of these videos last year, more so towards the end of the year, but I came across a post from somebody that I know who reshared this post. The person who made the initial post I am not aware of. I don't know who this person is. If you guys do, just let me know. But it's Ben Hawkeye Insider Branan something. I just went ahead and then he tagged David Eichel, Chris Hassel, Chad Leistiko. And the tag, his at is at Bettendorf. So I don't know who this guy is. If you guys consider this a trustworthy source, please let me know in the comment section. If you guys are aware of him, but I am not. So let's talk about okay. So I'll read the post really quickly. More rumors swirling around Iowa City. My sources are saying Fran McCaffery is done this year. And Darian DeVries, who is the father of Tucker DeVries, and they went to West Virginia, I think, as recently as this year, is in line to come back to his home state and coach the Iowa team next year. Will likely bring his son with, who is set to receive a medical red shirt. Every time I start a video, well, not every time, but sometimes I'll start a video and I won't put the ring light on, and then I'll look at it because I can see myself in the camera, and I'll think to myself, it doesn't look too bad. And then as moments go by, I go, you know what? I don't like the shadow. I don't like that. And then I go ahead and put it on. So I went ahead and saved this post for this exact moment. To discuss this. So let me give you guys my thoughts on Fran McCaffery. By the way, hit the subscribe button, like, comment. You guys know the drill. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys think this guy is credible, if you guys know who this insider is. I myself don't consider myself an insider. I am a content creator with regards to Iowa sports, a reactionary that reacts to and provides analysis for things that go on with Iowa sports. You guys know the drill. So, and then I got a comment also from somebody who watches the channel a lot, kind of asking me and saying that it doesn't make sense at this point with kind of where Iowa is at, kind of the up and down season that has taken place, why I have the opinion I do about Fran McCaffery and the 2 years. So let me start there, okay? The 2 years is largely based upon my last year's stance, okay? I consider myself to be one of, if not the most reliable Hawkeye content creator, because I'm not paid by any of these major publications, so therefore I'm not biased. I give you guys my open and honest opinion, and at the end of the day, I want to see Iowa play the best. And if they're not playing the best, I'm going to say that they're not playing the best, and I'm going to say how I think they can play the best. So with Fran, it largely goes back to that. And I also said last year, and I've referenced it multiple times since then, that that could change if, for example, this year was just so overwhelmingly negative to where we couldn't wait one more year and that, we would have to just move on from him. Okay. I don't think that this year has been that yet. Okay. Can Iowa finish that way? And can this season end up being a complete dumpster fire? Faux show. It absolutely can. Okay. The way Iowa has been kind of up and down, Iowa basically has one of two ways three ways it can go. It can keep kind of playing the same way it's been playing. They do decent at home, but on the road they get shellacked. They can take an even bigger step back and just, lose a majority of the games, if, most of their games as the year comes to a conclusion, or they can, fix some of these things. I am not optimistic that they're going to be able to fix a lot of these things because we're so deep into the year that a lot of these things needed to be fixed. But at the same time, I think Iowa has enough talent on the team to kind of, finish 500, maybe slightly under 500. So when I gave my 2-year statement, it was largely based on the talent that I saw that Iowa had. Largely the class that included Owen Freeman, Brock Harding, Lajai Dembele, and whoever else was a part of that class. Those Price Sanford. And I don't think anybody can argue that was a relatively talented class, especially with all of those guys being almost immediate contributors from day one, and they've already gained a lot of experience. Now, are any of them like surefire NBA, draft picks? I think the two most likely at this point would be Price Sanford, and a lot of the same reasons as Peyton Sanford, but maybe even a slightly more evolved prospect, and of course Owen Freeman. I can see Brock Harding develop into that, but he would need to become so good at some of these other, because of his lack of size, at some of these external categories. He would have to become like such a true point guard that just categorically makes his team better. He does have a lot of positive attributes, he really does. And I like his savviness, kind of the flavor that his game is, the point guard flavor that he provides. And then since then, so that was largely the reason why. And I'm going to circle back to that momentarily. And then since then, Iowa has landed a top 75, top 50 prospect in Joshua Lewis. They landed a transfer who is a 4-star by on 3, Isaiah Johnson Arrigu. And they have 2 other, developmental, long-term, decent prospects, bigger bodies in Desmond Briscoe and Badari Dikate, I think is how you say it. How I remember all those names is truly astonishing. Shows your boy's intelligence. No, I'm kidding. But sometimes it really is hard to remember all of these names. So I do think Iowa has a decent amount of talent. Now, to circle back to the first class, of all those names, I think, drop my pen there, I think the most likely to not be a part of next year's team is Lajai Dembele. And he is the guy that is on my alert, red flag to transfer, okay? Because as the season has progressed, he has taken a bigger and bigger and bigger step back. Not forward, back. Now, I said in a previous video, the most recent video I did, that Lajai Dembele, in order to get the minutes that Iowa needed from him this year consistently, he would have to bring kind of that external, grittiness, toughness, rebounding that other Iowa players could not. In order to consistently get minutes, and then score where he could, 4 to 10 points a night, anywhere in between there. But really be good in some of these external, maybe blocks, some of these external categories. And he just hasn't really been that. I do think long term, kind of my sentiment for him is that he just might not be that guy. I think at this point, he is not that guy. There has been guys throughout Fran McCaffery's career who has developed that toughness. Jared Utoff would come to mind. But Lajai Dembele would need to be like a more talented, and Nicholas Baer actually was way more talented than people gave him credit for and just really shows you what hard work can do. But just provides that external hard work, grittiness, toughness, and stuff like that. But he just might not be that guy. And so long term, I do think he has a nice skill set, nice frame, nice size. And as other guys leave, like a Peyton Samfort, and his role, gets bigger, he might become more of a viable option for Iowa. At the end of the day, guys, there's only so many points to be scored. There's only one ball out there. So, but still, nonetheless, there is talent on the roster. So I'm going to tie this in to the comment that I read from the Insider momentarily. I'm going to try and keep this video under 15 minutes. So, Fran McCaffery has talent on the roster now. Even if Lajai Dembele decides to transfer, you take into account some of the long-term projects, Chris Taggio, Cooper Coach, aka Cooper Koch, aka Cooper Koch. You put all those guys into the mix, and there's a lot of talent. And Fran McCaffery has absolutely made a concerted effort on the recruiting trail to change kind of how they recruit by going after a lot of versatile wings, 6'7" to 6'11" wings / centers or small power forwards. And all of that is good. I like that. Whereas before, he might be more willing to kind of have more guards on the roster, maybe, more like shooting guards type guys. So there is talent on the roster going into next year, as long as most of these guys come back. Now, obviously, that would change if somebody like Owen Freeman decided to transfer, so on and so on. And so that's where I'm operating. And just to put a bow on it, to answer one of the comments I got on my YouTube channel, this season has not been so categorically bad to where I am willing to come off that. It's getting close, but it's not quite there. And I do think Fran McCaffery, even though he hasn't had the NCAA tournament success, has built enough cachet, i.e. next year would be the last year, because cachet does not go very far in this business. It's a win now business, okay? Results oriented business, and I understand that better than most Iowa fans. I think some Iowa fans are quite deluded on that, but it's not quite there. Just to say it succinctly, it is not quite there. Now, to bring this back to the Post, do I think that this is an option? Well, we were hearing rumblings of this last year. And why? Okay, so if we were hearing rumblings of this last year, why wouldn't he have just left last year? Why wouldn't he have just been done last year? Now, it is possible that he's had a huge change of heart since last year, and he was thinking about it, last year, and, fast forward to where we're at now, and, his heart has completely come around, and he's, but I just don't see it, because he's been at Iowa for so long. His life is completely in Iowa City. His kids are all going to be in college or done with college. From a personal standpoint, he's making a lot of money. He doesn't really have a lot of heat on his job, unless there's something that I don't know or you don't know behind the scenes. There's just not a lot of heat for his job right now. And personally, I mean, what other job could Fran McCaffery find that would be worth uprooting where he lives in Iowa City? It is, I mean, I guess it's a small probability, but a possibility all the same, that he just wants a fresh start, and he would be okay taking a step back and coaching at a school like Butler. I'm not saying Butler's job is open, but a school, because Thad Matta's there. Some of these more college oriented guys, take a step back. For what it's worth, I actually think Fran McCaffery would make a good NBA coach because he's so offensive oriented, and he's not. He in his latter years, he's kind of become less aggressive towards his players, and he was never the most aggressive coach I've ever seen, but he could definitely get hot. But I just don't see it, guys. Again, this year, just like last year, what I said last year, I just don't see it. And by the way, if you're still here listening to this video, one of the comments in that post that I saw from the person I know who posted that, that's a mouthful, is that he was right about Brian Ferentz being fired. Everybody knew that. I knew that. You knew that. Everybody knew Brian Ferentz was going to be fired. So I don't consider that as like a win regarding the validity of his prognostications. So anyways, I digress. I just don't see, just like last year, I don't see why Fran McCaffery would leave. Unless he's just completely and utterly done with Iowa. He wants a fresh start, and he just doesn't want to coach at Iowa anymore categorically. But I just don't see it. I just don't, guys. He's recruiting decently well for Iowa standards. Could it be better? It always can be. But I'm sorry, guys. I just don't see a guy like Joshua Lewis, a 4-star guy, committing to Iowa if he had any inclination that Fran McCaffery was going to be leaving, because he has other options. A guy like that is not committing. One of the reasons why a guy like that commits to Iowa is because he's so confident that Fran McCaffery is going to be there the next year. And the final reason, and we're going to wrap this up because we're a minute over the 2 minutes over the 15 minutes, is that Fran McCaffery is going to have his most talented roster next year that he's had in 3 years. And the cachet that I was talking about is him making the NCAA tournament 4 years in a row. It would have been 5 years, would have been 5 straight NCAA tournaments if not for the Koof year. All of these reasons, I just don't see it, guys. Now, again, is it still possible? Yes. And, there's going to be people when I post this, if it ends up happening, they're going to say, see, you were wrong. But it's like, come on, guys. There's stuff behind the scenes I'm just speaking from like a logical, without behind the scenes knowledge. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see why he would leave Iowa City. Now, what you wanting him to leave and him wanting to leave are two different things. And I totally understand why Iowa fans are apathetic. And I have documented it better than most, if not all, Iowa content creators. I understand your apathy towards the Iowa basketball program. But, and again, I'm almost there myself. I'm willing to give him one more year, and that's it. And if I don't see substantial change, especially on the defensive end, no matter what talent is on the roster, I'm going to be saying that Iowa needs to move on from him because he's been at Iowa for a long time. He's been here forever. So I just don't see it, guys. He's older. It's not like he's a young coach. Why would he leave? The only reason he would leave is if he is just so done with coaching at Iowa that all the other things I just listed were not worth it and he'd be gone. And then let me add one more thing. And by the way, I think it is possible that this post is like a parody account. So me talking about this is not necessarily responding to that post. I think my buddy who posted it might have been duped on it for what it's worth, and he's probably going to watch this. You might have been duped. But I'm just responding because, it's a good topic to cover. Especially with this year almost being done, it's a good place to revisit. So I don't see it, guys. Those are the reasons why. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section, whether you guys think he's gone. Oh, last point. That's what I was going to say. The guy who is possibly going to, who was listed as replacing him, just took his job at West Virginia. He just took his job at West Virginia. And that's a decent job in the ACC. I mean, again, all these things are just not adding up. So, yeah, guys, I don't see it. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment. You guys know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy with all facts or feelings, because your feelings just matter. We went 5 minutes over the 15-minute mark limit, but I think it was all good. I'll see you guys next time. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.